We have a feeling these rookies are going to surprise some people in year one. So because of that, we think there are buy low opportunities on these rookies. We've already done a rookie buy low video, but we're doing another one because we're seeing some screaming values now. And I guarantee as we get into the preseason, we're going to see even more screaming values in Dynasty Fantasy Football. So do us a huge favor. If you play Dynasty Fantasy Football, like this video and make sure you subscribe to the channel. Comment down below right now. Which rookies are you buying? Which rookies do you think are good values in your leagues? We're interested to see how they line up with the ones that we're going to give you today. And do us a favor, head over to flockfantasy.com/domain. When you use our code, you get 30% off. You get rankings, articles, databases from not only us, but all your favorite creators. And when you use code domain and you sign up for the Mother Flocker 2, you get a team review video from us reviewing your Dynasty team, and you get in a listener league with us and our Discord. You get everything. So head over to flockfantasy.com, use code domain. Link is in the description. So these rookies, I think there are a fair amount of people underestimating these rookies. And these are not like buy low sleeper rookies. These are guys that have been going in the first round of Dynasty rookie drafts. These are guys that have been going in the early second of Dynasty rookie draft. We have 4 of them today, and I'm going to start with the first one. Wrote an article about this over on Flock Fantasy. Jordan Addison's going to be our first one. Jordan Addison going to the Minnesota Vikings, playing alongside Justin Jefferson, who is the best wide receiver in the NFL. And when you're thinking about the situation that he's stepping into, Jordan Addison is replacing, he's replacing Adam Thielen. And in my opinion, that team was in desperate need of a new wide receiver too. And now that they have one, he goes to a team where Justin Jefferson was number 1 in the league in routes run last year, and Adam Thielen was number 2. Not only that, they were also top 2 in red zone targets and receptions, I think. So what does that tell you about the Vikings?
Routes run too.
And yeah, it tells you that there is not only enough there for him to produce right away, but he could actually be a top 24 wide receiver in fantasy this year. And I don't think that's out of the picture. When you're looking at Jordan Addison, in startup drafts, he's usually going 6th, 7th round. In best ball drafts, he's usually going about the same place, which he's being criminally undervalued in best ball drafts. But in Dynasty in particular, when you have a rookie wide receiver that steps into a situation like Jordan Addison has stepped into, and you know that he's being consistently undervalued or projected to perform, you have to buy because you know his value is going to go up. You see this so often with rookie wide receivers. You saw it last year. Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, Drake London was another one. All those guys were going so late. And we've, for the most part, adjusted our rookie wide receivers up. Now you have Quentin Johnson going in the 5th round, even Jordan Addison in the 6th. However, if Jordan Addison does go out there and put up 800 to 900 yards, like I think he easily will, and 4 to 5 touchdowns at the minimum, Jordan Addison's value is going to be flirting with 4th, 5th round, maybe 3rd, 4th round, because you see these rookies do that. Drake London had about the same. I think he had 900 yards in his rookie year, flirting with the 4th round. Christian Watson, I think he had like 600 yards, flirting with the 4th round, even flirting with the 3rd round at times. So Jordan Addison, he's going to be no exception. You can expect his value to go up if he does produce like that. And right now, I think people are just kind of pushing him down the list of rookie wide receivers because
of his upside. And I think that's something that we really have to be careful with and not short his value right now as a rookie because of his potential limited ceiling playing behind Justin Jefferson. We can worry about tomorrow when tomorrow comes. We can worry about his upside when it comes next season, when he produces with 800, 900 yards a season, because there's just too many vacated targets. Adam Thielen, 107 targets last year, and Dalvin Cook, who is gone, who had significant receiving upside, 39 receptions for 300 receiving yards. Like, this is what Addison is going to make up for. Madison does not have the same receiving upside that Dalvin does, and they don't have anyone behind him that's going to be capable of doing the same thing. Addison's going to get all those short to intermediate targets, plenty of volume there in that offense for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've got our next guy on this list.
Yeah, so our next guy here is going to be Michael Mayer. And with him, I think one of the biggest things that we like about him going into Vegas is the fact that he's being paired with Jimmy Garoppolo. We've said this plenty of times, but we are not going to go out there and say that Michael Mayer is going to be George Kittle. We're not in the business of predicting elite tight ends because there's so few of them and so many tight ends that go in the second and third round consistently every single year. And a lot of them don't pan out from a fantasy perspective. But Michael Mayer specifically and Foster Moreau last season averaged 4.8 and 3.7 targets a game. Not Michael Mayer, Darren Waller and Foster Moreau. Now both of them are gone. And that vacates, about 8 targets a game at the tight end position for Michael Mayer, who's going to be the dominant tight end in that offense. And then another thing about this is you see where rookie tight ends go in the second round, and then look at their ADP, their second season. Tight ends, as low as we are on tight ends that aren't top 6 producing tight ends in fantasy leagues and in Dynasty, there is something to be said about how they maintain or significantly increase in value from their rookie season to their second season without even putting up much production. Like if they have one flash, 1 or 2 games where they have a couple touchdowns and more than 5 targets, like they're going to go up in value, and a lot of people are going to be excited about those guys. I mean, look at where Greg Dulcich was being drafted last season, and then he goes out and averages 5.5 targets per game and 41 yards, and he was a 3rd-round pick in the NFL. Michael Mayer is such a better talent in such a better situation, I believe personally, and he's poised for a major market value increase when he gets a majority of the tight end targets in that offense.
And he's going to, because he's the best tight end there. They drafted him for a reason. But also situationally, look at Jimmy G historically with tight ends. He's usually pretty tight end friendly quarterback. And a lot of people are even questioning, will Jimmy G be on the field this year? He's staying with Red. Yes, he's going to be there. They gave him a 3-year, $72 million contract. He's going to be there in Las Vegas. So with Michael Mayer, again, I've made this argument and it's bold. I think Michael Mayer could be the second target in that offense. I think he's going to command more targets than people think because I think his skill set will translate to the NFL very nicely. He's going to come in. He's going to be impossible to take off the field because of his run blocking. They're going to keep him in a lot. Therefore, the volume will be there for Michael Mayer, and usually what follows volume with rookie tight ends is production. So I think it's a no-brainer. And the next guy on this list is going to be CJ Stroud. Look, we're playing in Superflex leagues, and I'm going to be 100% honest with you, and you all know how I feel about CJ Stroud. As unbiased as I can say this, I think CJ Stroud is maybe the best value in Dynasty startups right now because he has gone from going in the second round, and he was going in the second round after the draft.
Falling 2 full rounds.
He fell 2 full rounds. He's going as far as a full round and a half after Bryce Young, which is really interesting. He's still falling, and he's actually built like a full-grown adult. That's funny.
Yeah, thanks.
The pick is about the price. Again, CJ Stroud is what he is, and I love CJ Stroud as a player, but it's about the price. From a draft capital and a question mark perspective, Stroud should be going back-to-back with Young, especially when we're talking about fantasy football. What are we doing here? Seriously, I do not get the disconnect. What happened to let me know in the comments what happened to CJ Stroud that we've just started bumping him down 2 full rounds of ADP. I mean, he's a quarterback that got 102 draft capital. A guy that consistently put up the best statistics in college football for 2 years straight. Bryce Young, 2 years ago, was the better player, was the better quarterback. CJ Stroud still put up the numbers. He's been consistently good in college, and he has a skill set from an accuracy standpoint that's going to translate to the NFL. Not to mention, he has better weapons than Bryce Young does, in my opinion. And I think in yours.
But Jonathan Mingo.
Well, that's where people just don't understand. I mean, look, Young has to be an outlier to succeed from a fantasy perspective. Wow, that was a mouthful. Yeah. Young has to be an outlier to succeed from a fantasy perspective. We can't deny that. And if we're betting he'll succeed, he went first overall. Well, CJ Stroud went literally right after him. So the investment level is dang near equivalent. The ADP gap should not be this dramatic. Look, if you want to take Bryce Young over CJ Stroud, do it. That's fine. Bryce Young went 101. He's a 101 quarterback. He's very, very good.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that.
And if we were betting men, we'd probably say that Bryce Young's going to have a successful NFL career.
I think so too, but the same goes for CJ Stroud.
Yep.
If you're at all concerned that Houston will move on from Stroud if he disappoints this season, you should not be concerned about that. Remember, they traded their own first in 2024 for Will Anderson, but you could technically argue that they traded it for Stroud and then just blocked off Tennessee from trading up for Stroud as well, because Stroud was Tennessee's guy as well, which why all of our AFC South foes were gunning for my favorite quarterback, I don't know, but that makes me very sad.
Yeah.
CJ Stroud is their guy just just as much as Bryce is Carolina's guy. What is the disconnect? What is the disconnect? Everybody's stuck singing Sweet Caroline with Bryce Young, forgetting that Stroud solved Houston's problem. I'm about to walk off the set. I cannot believe you wrote that.
Why?
That was so dumb. You suck.
We can cut it. It was funny.
No, don't cut it. But gosh,
I thought it was
CJ Stroud screaming value in Dynasty drafts right now.
Yeah.
And the last guy might surprise you, but this has gotten a little bit interesting, and I think you're going to kind of explain why.
Yeah, so Etienne, this is a lot about Travis Etienne. Tank Bigsby, we have never been fans of Tank Bigsby as a prospect. We never thought that he was going to get significant, respectable draft capital in the NFL. Then he goes and gets drafted in the 3rd round.
Which shocks me. And could it be a
was
terrible
shocking
Jaguars pick? Yes.
Absolutely. It could absolutely be. But I think the point stands that Etienne last season was somewhat of a disappointment. And by somewhat, I mean a lot. Like, he was just straight up mid. When it came to efficiency, when it came to what they expected of him.
List the stats, because you said that, and people are going to be in the comments saying Etienne's not mid.
And yeah, I mean, well, can you guess this player? Well, it's going to be Etienne. 7.8% target share last year. That's 31st. And this is a guy that we've said before should be known for his receiving upside.
He should be.
45 targets for 35 receptions. That was 22nd. 316 receiving yards for 15th. 4.6 true yards per carry, 24th. 3 yards created per touch. That's 17th. 48 stuffed runs. That was 7th in the league. 45 evaded tackles, 29th in the league, 17.6% juke rate, 44th in the league, and 12.1 fantasy points per game at 23rd. He's currently RB7 in Dynasty right now, and he's going way too high in fantasy and in best ball startups in my opinion. Like, why are we expecting Etienne to do something that he has yet to do? And yes, I know that he's only played one season. Last year was essentially his rookie year, but it is interesting to note that the first year he was with Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson goes into the next draft, immediately drafts a running back, and
people tried to tell us
there's a trend here.
And we were like, no, he's not going to draft another. There's no way they're running another.
The Doug P committee back system is real. It clearly is. There's no way they would have gone out of their way and spent a 3rd round pick on a running back if Doug Peterson didn't want to do the committee running back system that he's done for so many years and did in Philly for so long. And that's really, I mean, that's pretty much the best, most obvious argument that I think you can see when you look at Etienne's efficiency, when you look at his game log. He just was not a very good runner. And that was kind of disappointing for us because he started out strong, but he played well at the beginning of the season when the Jags overall as an offense were, kind of sucky. And then they really found their groove. They really found their rhythm. And that was honestly walking away from the run game consistently with one focal point in the run game in Travis Etienne. He just lost his consistent carry or his consistent opportunity in snap share. And I think they wanted to lean more on the passing game because, they have this guy named Trevor Lawrence. I'm not sure if you've heard of him, but he's like one of the most elite prospects of all time. And you would assume that they want to, utilize him in the passing game and focus on that primarily. This is what they're going to do. And Lawrence is another guy who's proven himself. He's going to be one of the premier quarterbacks in the NFL. And now he's going into his 3rd year, not going to be that far away from an extension where the QB market has been reset and the running back market's in limbo right now. If you can reset the clock 2 years and get Tank Bigsby and then kind of phase Etienne out for the next season or two, you just keep running that cycle at the running back position while you pay your ridiculous amount of wide receivers in your quarterback, which should be your focal point.
And long term, I'm not worried about Tank Bigsby. It's not like this is not the same as the James Robinson thing.
No,
the James Robinson thing was dumb. You could see it from a mile away. This is different. They actually spent decent draft capital on this running back, and the fact that this coaching staff, this organization went and got this guy, and that Etienne's value hasn't really changed at all is a little bit nerve-wracking to me. But either way, Tank Bigsby, he's going in the 12th round right now. That's where at the end of the 12th, usually into the 13th, his value will go up. People are going to see him start to get some snaps, and they're going to be like, oh, crap. It's going to be the same thing with Zach Charbonnet, and people are going to see what Zach Charbonnet does from a passing game standpoint. They're going to be like, oh, crap. Again, that's the Dynasty community just being lower on guys because they believe too much in the backs that are already there, when in reality, the teams that went and drafted the backs are pursuing a committee backfield, which is not all that uncommon in the NFL. So, again, those rookies we think are going to surprise some people this year. So because of that, you should buy them while they're low. If you don't believe in them, like personally, if I'm buying Tank Bigsby right now, which I will, I'm going to sell him later. But if I'm getting Jordan Addison, I like Jordan Addison. I'm probably going to keep Jordan Addison. CJ Stroud, I'm going to hug like just as tight as I can on my team. So you should be buying these players and ultimately seeing what their value does, and you're going to get market gains from that. So do us a huge favor. Make sure you like the video. It tells other users to watch this video, which really helps us out. So make sure you do that, and make sure you're subscribed as well. We really appreciate when you subscribe, and it helps us out a ton. Make sure you head over to flockfantasy.com and use code DOMAIN. You get 30% off everything on the site. You get our rankings, all the articles, databases. You get a team review video for your Dynasty team if you select the Mother Flocker tier and use code DOMAIN. So make sure you're going over there and doing that as well. As always, we appreciate you watching. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you later.